Premier and leader of the Virgin Islands Party, Honourable Ralph O'Neill, said that the UK is asking all of their overseas territories to submit their budget estimates for approval. But the NDP says this is not the case, as not all of the UK overseas territories were presented with the proposal to send their draft budget estimates to the UK before it can be passed in the local House of Assembly. Mr. O'Neill, speaking in District 1 on Saturday, October 15, said that the UK's proposal has been presented to all other British overseas territories.
Yes, we are negotiating, but it's not us alone. It is all the overseas territories. Falkland Islands, St. Helena, Cayman Islands, Bermuda, Turks and Caicos, Anguilla, Montserrat, the BVI. And no negotiations are completed as yet, because it has got to be discussed in London when the OTCC take place on the 22nd of November. You see? So how could he talk about being shocked? And what the deputy said is something that we have got to be careful with, because they are pressing me now to send our comments on it. I have not answered that part of the communication yet. And we have to be careful, because we do not want to get under the clinches of the British government when it comes to finance.
But NDP at-large candidate Myron Walwyn says, contrary to what has been said, the UK government has not requested that all overseas territories submit their draft budget for approval. He said Bermuda is one of those countries that was not presented with the proposal.
Contrary to what we have been told, this request by the United Kingdom government was not made to all the overseas territories. For example, the request was not made to Bermuda, because Bermuda, in the eyes of the United Kingdom government, will be able to meet their financial obligations when they fall due. They cannot say the same for other financially troubled overseas territories, such as the Cayman Islands, Anguilla, Turks and Caicos, which we know is under direct rule now, Montserrat, and now the British Virgin Islands. Historically, the British Virgin Islands has always been treated differently from the other Caribbean overseas territories. For instance, the BVI was the first to have its own Ministry of Finance. Anguilla got its first Minister of Finance in the mid-1980s. The Cayman Islands only got their first Minister of Finance in 2009, as the governor was responsible for finance before that time. We have always been praised for fiscal prudence and maturity until now.
The NDP also presented information from a report by the International Monetary Fund on the BVI's fiscal position. According to NDP candidate for District 2, Claude Skelton-Klein, the report speaks to the BVI's deteriorating fiscal health and action now being taken by the UK government.
The IMF report, page 11, item number 5. This is part of their assessment. The BVI's fiscal health is deteriorating, and the territory is undergoing budget rebalancing. Growth in expenditures has exceeded growth in revenues for the past several years, and the flattening of the revenue has meant that the BVI was in a deficit position in 2009. The UK imposes fiscal restrictions on OCT, overseas territories, including a requirement to have 90 days liquidity in reserves. The BVI has breached this target, and as a consequence cannot take on any additional debt without the permission of the UK. This is the IMF report 2010 regarding the state of affairs for the BVI government. This is not Claude Skelton-Klein. This is not the NDP's report.
According to Premier Ralph O'Neill, discussions on the UK's proposal to have the BVI government present its draft budget estimates to the UK government for approval will continue in November at the OTCC meeting. The meeting will take place after the November 7th elections, and a new elected government will be representing the BVI at that meeting.